This video will change how you look at a dumbbell forever, so if you're not ready to have your beliefs challenged, then click off. I don't know how much you liked physics in high school, but in the weight room, it's always going to be important. I'll give you a quick overview on how to apply physics to your training decisions and touch on machines and range of motion at the end of the video. So here's a quick test. How many of these elements can you name? I bet you only got this one, gravity. I drew it where I'm holding the dumbbell because that's the point where the external resistance is acting upon me. Gravity is applied the same to all three weights, so we're gonna touch on cables later. Moving on, my elbow represents the primary moving axis. There's always gonna be some shoulder and wrist motion doing curls, but for the sake of this discussion, it doesn't matter. With these 2 points, we can draw a moment arm, and it must be perpendicular to the direction of force. If I play this video, you can see that the length of the moment is constantly changing. What does this mean? Well, longer the moment, bigger the resistance, and harder the exercise. The same principle would apply to other isolations like a tricep extension or a lateral raise, but how about a compound movement like a leg press? Same shit. Draw the direction of force where it applies, in this case the midfoot, and since we have two joints, the hip and the knee, moving at the same time, we're gonna draw a moment arm from each joint. With these two being different in size, we can now tell which muscles are we biasing more. In this case, where the knee moment is longer, it's mostly a quad exercise, but by placing my feet higher on the platform, I made my glutes work harder. This is what physicists call torque. It's a property of force and presents a force's ability to produce movement. It's equal to a product of the moment arm and the force, aka the weight you're using. Take me doing a lateral raise with 7 kilo dumbbells and arms about 0.7 meters long. In this position, where my arm is perpendicular to the ground, the torque I have to resist is 49. Because a kilo is 10 newtons, times 0.7 meters, we get 49 Newton meters. This amount will decrease when I go above or below this point. Now I have the basics down for how the external forces interact with your body, but what if I told you that your muscles also produce different amounts of force in different positions? I'm talking about internal moment arms, which are the same as external moments in principle, but have the exact opposite effects. Here's what I mean. When an external moment arm is longer, there's more resistance acting upon us. When an internal moment arm is longer, our ability to produce force is higher. I took a really close-up shot for you to see. By removing everything but the bones and the muscle, you can now see where the biceps inserts. From here, we can draw the axis, the moment arm, and the force which the muscle is producing in this position. Pay attention to the length of this moment because as I flex my arm, it gets shorter. This is important because the longer the moment, the more force the muscles can generate. By doing this for both of the elbow positions, you can now see that the biceps is strongest at about 90 degrees of elbow flexion. So, not to complicate all of this nerdy stuff, you can imagine it like a tug of war between external and internal moment arms. This was just theory up to this point, so I've got two important topics regarding exercise selection to make better decisions in your training program. The first one is range of motion. Are you team full ROM? Do you try to use the maximal range of motion at all times? Is more range always better? Well, the quick answer, no. The first thing you need to know is what you're trying to accomplish with an exercise. So let's go back to the lateral raise example. What happens if we go all the way up doing the YMCA? The moment arm gets shorter, so the point is, more arm just for the sake of it is wasted energy. So a standard lateral raise is only decent for training the mid position of the side delt. By using cables or bands, you could set yourself up so that the resistance would be greatest at the top or bottom. So the goal of an exercise shouldn't be to train in its full range of motion, but rather in its full range of challenge. If you combine these exercises, you would challenge the biggest total range of motion, which will then lead to the best stimulus for growth. I also wanted to touch on machines as they're always a topic of disagreement because no one understands how they work. Every machine in the gym has a lot of features. Some are made complex, some are made simple, some provide resistance through only one direction while others provide it through many different planes. There's also something in the middle where it moves through only one plane, but the user can alter the position. For example, in a leg press, we can change the foot placement to get a different outcome. Every machine has a resistance profile, which is an equivalent to our strength curve. There are also some machines in which we can alter the resistance profile, but that's the topic for another video. Take this machine curling variation. This asymmetrical pulley allows me to load my biceps the most while in the mid position, which is also where it has the most leverage and drops as we approach full flexion and extension. These machines are pretty rare in most cases, but if you came across one, it's probably going to feel very smooth and natural compared to one that doesn't match your strength curve. What's great about these matched profiles is that no portions of any rep are wasted. You don't need to do different exercises just to challenge the full range of motion. Now, I'm not saying only do that exercise because they vary in much more than just their resistance profile, but also in their relative muscle length, like this preacher curl, which shortens my biceps due to more shoulder flexion. If you guys want me to cover any of these topics more in depth, let me know in the comments below so I know what I should do next. So until then, see you guys.